How long have I been wandering in this place? How many turns have I taken? How many stairs have I climbed? Questions, questions, questions without anyone to give an answer. In all of my time wandering this endless maze, I've never seen another person. The path curved sharply upward in front of me, reaching up into the sky above at an almost vertical angle. I've tried to walk paths like this before, wondering if gravity in this strange place worked the same as where I came from. Or would it allow me to scale impossible pathways, upside down and backward? However, that wasn't the case. At least gravity is normal here. The sky grew dark. Days seemed longer in this place than back home. Before my watch died, I tracked the sun from noon one day to noon the next. It took 50 hours instead of 24. 25 hours of darkness approached, and I dreaded what came with it. Every night in this place, I got that unmistakable feeling of being watched, and I heard sounds around me. The faint echo of a distant footstep, the light scraping of something against stone, the eerie rattle of a ragged breath. I'd seen no signs of people in this place, no forgotten tools or carvings in the smooth rocks, but I was not alone. Something stalked me through the place. I didn't know if it knew I was aware of it, but I thought it best to feign ignorance. I didn't know what it is, or what it was capable of. The sun finally set. The walls and platforms around me seemed to warp and writhe under the passing shadows. No stars shined in the sky, only an infinite void of darkness. My footsteps echoed like I was in a cave. The air smelled like chalk and was frigid and still, but the cold didn't bother me, not as much as the thing that followed me. I kept walking, ignoring my own fatigue. A ragged breath echoed through the darkness. It was behind me, on top of a wall to my left. I felt its eyes on the back of my head. It watched me and waited. I pressed onward, not pausing to explore other routes. 25 hours of darkness lay ahead of me, 25 hours of the stalking sensation. How did I even get to this place? How did I come to be here? How could I get out? Questions, questions, and not a single answer. I turned a corner and found myself in an area of platforms and paths with no walls. I had seen places like that before. Rather than walls, the walkable paths were separated by bottomless drops. Some paths stood close to each other, some were several meters apart. I always got a sense of vertigo when traveling through places like that. A subtle wave of comfort washed over me as I stepped farther into the clear space. There was nowhere to hide there, so maybe the following thing wouldn't pursue me. I kept walking, deeper and deeper into the area, farther and farther from any high walls. My sense of ease grew with every step. The more distance I put between myself and a concealing wall, the better. The sound of scraping stone echoed from below me. I froze in place. The sound echoed again, closer. The following thing was creeping on the sides of the path below me. I never considered that it could climb vertical surfaces like that. I'd never seen the thing, so it could be a big spider for all I knew. I started walking again, the same relentless routine that kept me away from my stalker. An uncomfortable realization filled my mind. I had stopped moving when I heard it. I reacted to it. If it didn't know that I was aware of it before, it definitely knew now. I quickened my pace, only slightly, hopefully not enough to provoke it. I had to get away. I had to gain distance. Between my echoing footsteps, I could still hear the thing following me. Whatever hope I had that I could outpace it disappeared. The sound of its footsteps matched my own. It had sped up as well. Sweat beaded on my brow, stinging my eyes as droplets ran into them. I maintained my pace as I veered toward a dead end. Another path lay within leaping distance, so I paused, darted, and jumped across the gap. While airborne, I glanced downward to try and see my pursuer. The haunting image burned into my mind. A pair of amber eyes gleamed from the elongated face of an inhuman creature. Curved horns jutted forward from the sides of its head. Its hands spread across the wall, clinging with some unseen force. Its head and shoulders seemed carved from rough stone. Behind them, a formless mass made of shadow lay with many arms writhing from it. Its eyes looked directly at me. I landed on the other side of the gap and took off running. The beast howled, now fully aware that its prey knew of it. Its thunderous steps filled the air as it climbed up and pursued me along the path. They thundered like boulders on the floor, drowning out my own. A line of high walls appeared just under a downward slope. Holes filled the walls, large enough for me to slip through, but too small for the beast chasing me to follow. The knowledge of its size helped me know where I could go to hide from it. I sped up and dove through one of the holes and scrambled through the tight tunnel on the other side. The beast collided with the wall, one long arm thrust in after me, but I'd already escaped its reach. I crawled deeper into the tight passage. It twisted, turned, and branched off like a maze of its own. I could have sworn this tunnel was in the side of a wall much thinner than this. I already knew this maze was strange, but it only kept getting stranger. An alcove jutted out from the side of the narrow tunnel. At last, a place to rest for a moment. I curled up on the hard stone floor. The thing couldn't follow me in there. My heavy eyelids finally had a chance to stay down long enough for me to sleep. When I woke up, I retraced my steps back to the hole I originally came through. The monster was gone, but the wall around the opening had been cracked, smashed and scratched where it tried to break in after me. Thankfully, it gave up sometime the night before and left. The sun peeked out from below the horizon. Had I slept the entire 25 hours? I wouldn't be surprised. I'd gone several days there without sleep. I crawled out of the hole and turned to the new, unexplored area. More holes like the one I hid in filled the walls, all of them too small for that beast to fit through. I sighed in comfort. I would be safe there from that thing. A monstrous howl shook the cold air. That thing was still on the hunt. I ran. Hiding in a hole couldn't save me in the end. The only way out was finding the end of the maze or death.